Welcome to the Christian Principles Podcast. I'm Matt George.
And I'm Mark Zockel.
Say
it.
Who'd you get?
You say it.
The 50th episode.
50. We've done 50
50th.
pods.
I mean, do we need...
50 in.
Okay. I was thinking of, we need some, crazy sound effect or something. Pretty cute. Fireworks and everything else. But here it is, the Golden Pod.
Yes.
We've made it.
50th pod is the golden pod. Now, I feel like that's way too few podcasts.
But think about this. We started this at the end of August.
Yeah.
And here we are when we're recording this in beginning of December.
Mm-hmm.
50 episodes is pretty good. I feel like that's pretty good.
And I've enjoyed it too.
And I've enjoyed every single one of them. Well, yeah, most of them.
Early on, I was told that by December, if we weren't seeing, serious growth and we weren't seeing, a path to monetization and things like that, we would probably be done with it. And I gotta say, there's definitely been times okay, we're definitely not growing like we were when we started. We don't see thousands of people.
Yeah, the newness has worn off. Yeah,
but I am still excited to record.
Yeah,
and I'm still excited to listen to them. And I still actually, even in the last episode, do feel like I actually grew. I actually got stronger listening to this, listening to myself. No, not listening to it. Listening to the conversation that we had.
I learned something from me. No, okay. So this is a little bit different than the state of the pod because we just did the state of the pod. You just heard it. You all loved the state of the pods. We just did Roman numeral 2. This is a little bit different because, this is just the cap, right? Yeah. Here we are in this moment, 50 episodes in, and the cool thing for me. And I don't think I said this in the state of the pod. If I did, it's not as fresh on my mind as it is on our listeners. But I see us going. Sorry, Matthew. Let me start over. The thing that comes to my mind is as I look to the future, the next 50 episodes, and the next 150 episodes, we have barely scratched the surface, and there's so many things out there.
Exactly.
That I really look forward to digging into, and really, we've had some great interactions, we've had some great guests, and I look forward to bringing some of those guests back, and I look forward to diving deeper into these topics, but expanding and I don't know. There's just so much I love about this point that we're at.
I think the networking really, even though that's always been something that's a huge deal for me, I want to gather those friends. I've enjoyed even more so having a reason to do that.
Yeah.
Have a reason to bring somebody on and to get their voice out there. And I do also love getting other people's voices out there because we are surrounded, as Christian educators, we are surrounded by a world who absolutely have their voices being heard loud and clear. And they're saying, build your brand, get out there, say your thing, say your truth. Well, hey, we need to be saying our truth. And it is exciting to give more Christian educators who influence me, who influence others, who bring up this next generation for Christ, another avenue to say what they want to say. And that's exciting, for his honor and glory.
Yeah.
But in so much this is our golden episode.
Boom.
We got gold questions, folks.
Yeah, we got gold questions. But before we get to those, we got to give a lot of golden credit to our brand partner.
Our gold standard brand partner.
Let's get over to that.
Coming on back in.
Let's
get to some questions.
Let's get some gold.
We're not going to be attacking the stapler. Okay, we're not going to be attacking the pickup line, the drop off line, how to fire somebody.
This is dream big. Yeah. This is the fun. Put it out there. Yeah. Put it out on the front porch. See if the cat licks it up. All that good stuff. Here we go.
That one in a while.
This is good. Good stuff. Thank you. I keep that one in the back.
Was that your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa?
No, this from never mind. All right, so Mark, here's the question.
Go for it.
If you had a pile of gold, big old pile, what you doing with it? What are you looking for? We want to be creative here, right? Not just the simple things we're obviously raising money for. Sure. That's going to take care of.
Campaign, I'm going to put that aside because everybody would like to have a bigger building or a nicer gym floor or that kind of stuff. Sure. And I'm going to take and move salaries out of that as well because hopefully it goes without being said that I want everybody to make more money around me because they deserve more. Or I should say, I want the parents to not have to pay for anything, so more kids will come. I could say that too. But if I just had a big pile of gold right now, where would I place that pile of gold? Man, I like the outside the box stuff. So I would want to, I suppose I would say something like getting what we need via transportation, drivers, and like security and communication devices to be able to go off campus, and of course the resources to go off campus for a field trip, not every day, but once a week. Yeah. I love field trips. Yeah. I love that they, especially where we happen to be, there is so much. I know there's history everywhere, but I really do feel blessed that we can travel half an hour and put our feet in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. We can travel 2 hours to our west and stand in our nation's capital. Yeah. We can head north and see where our country was, founded as, not founded, but 1776.
Sure. Philadelphia. That's what you're talking about. Philadelphia.
Old Philly.
Yeah.
Just beat the Ravens. It's just so sad in my mind still. We can drive south and get to, so many stops along the way that we really are blessed in that way. So there's so much to see. And I would love to just trips within the school day, being able to take more and more and tying them into our lessons. That gets easier when I have the resources to call. It's not Holloway's anymore because they're out of business.
Sure.
But to call a local bus company and say, hey, come on over. We're taking kids. Yeah. We're going
charter
2
bus.
hours. Come back. Exactly.
Yeah.
So either we buy the charter bus and the charter driver.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do. That'd be something I would do. I feel like it's kind of creative. I would like to do that with my. I also really like swag. So I would not have uniforms. I would have options when the students walked in, like with lockers, and they could just, like if you were a D1 athlete, which I was not, but you see the videos and you see like the Oregon Ducks unit, they're number one right now in the college football.
Yeah,
and you see their Maryland's uniforms are gorgeous. Penn State's boring because it's blue and white, but it's also super classic because it doesn't change at all.
It's classic.
So whichever one you want, boring or classic. But with those ones that have a new uniform every week or a new decal or a new sign, I would want that for our students. So they could they can wear whatever they're going to wear, but when they get to school, they put on a uniform. And it's like hung for them every day in their own locker. So the locker truly is like you get ready for school, and you got like white Air Force Ones with your khaki pants that have a falcon on the side, and then you get your choice of 3 different options for your school day, and you can launder them at nights. You get changed out. That would be having serious swag for students and teachers. Like not scrubs, but the idea of like coming to work and change and then leaving. That's what I want.
That's where you went. Pile of gold, man. That would be something.
That would be awesome.
That would be something.
It'd be advertising too. They would always just anyway. Matt, let's say you have a pile of gold. You can't spend it on capital campaign. Right. You can't put more money in teachers' pockets because we know you would. Because you're that kind
That'd be a part of
philanthropical leprechaun. What are you going to do with your pile of gold?
I was really worried because when you brought up about the traveling, and doing those trips, I was worried that the one thing I was thinking about, but I went a little bit bigger. Okay. Where I'm thinking we're getting on a plane and we are.
Do we own the plane?
I'm sure. Why not?
A pile of gold.
We have not limited the pile of this gold. I'm thinking Scrooge McDuck dive into it. That swim in it. Okay, that's what's in my head. But yeah, we're talking about Germany. Let's go to Germany.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Obviously, being a good Christian school leader, we would do missions trips, at least one, but
I should have thought that
most likely like once a quarter. Right, we're gonna be going to every continent within the year. Maybe not Antarctica.
We're getting rid of all this feed and we're going back, and my answer is going to be mission trips.
Sorry, no,
that's my answer now.
That would be, and I know I told you this about some other things. I know we'll probably talk about this in other episodes, but it just seems like there's so many things that we want our kids to be able to do, and it's just like, where's the time? And ultimately, it ends up coming down to where's the money that's going to be able to afford, those opportunities. So, that being money not being an issue, to be able to just charter your own plane. We got basically we would own Salisbury Airport, and we would just go down there. All right, guys, here we go. Everybody got your passports. Let's move.
Falcons here we go. Let's go.
Falcons fly. Yeah, that's what I would do. All right, so here we go. Gold medal.
How many questions we got? 2 or 3?
We got three more.
Okay, 3 more.
So gold medal goes to who comes to your mind when it comes to your development as an administrator? Who is that person that you say, you know what, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be half the man I was? Who gets the gold medal?
I'll go to the one who I realized as that mentor in the professional role I was in. I did have some coming before this. I'll give it to Brad Parker. Brad Parker is the guy who I really would say not only did he evidence to me what he did as an administrator, so I was there to call, he was there to call, and he was there to have conversations with, but he actually asked me what I did too. And it's not about me, but when the person that you respect does that,
Yeah.
and then like engages with the idea and kicks it back and says, that's really cool. I'll never forget the big one for me was when the Maryland Association of Christian Schools had forever been going to Annapolis on Max and Annapolis Day and buying a lunch for the basically the office staff of the senators and congressmen because they wouldn't show up, and then you're feeding their proxies, and it's a couple $1,000s, and keeping that room is not cheap.
Right.
So you're renting the room, you're using their catering, and you're not finding the people that you're there to meet. I did it for 2 years, and I went to Brad and I was like, hey Brad, crazy idea. Let's do something completely different. Let's keep all that money and let's buy stuff for our schools, hand part of it to them as like advertising, get stuff that looks like advertising that's cheap enough you can give to a congressman, senator, and not be a problem. I'm talking about the state senators. And also, let's go feed our students and let's go bring our students down. Because if our students show up, they will watch us.
Yeah.
If our students show up, they will come and meet us. They absolutely will. And Brad took that to the Max board, and we did it. And we've been doing it since then. And that was a big deal. And it wasn't me. It was Brad taking that up and doing that. And that was that.
Yeah.
That sold me. So I would give my gold medal to Brad.
Gold medal, Brad Parker.
He's got to get back on the podcast. I got to bring him back on.
Yep, definitely.
Matt, if you had a gold medal to pass out to somebody in your professional life as the gold medal in your professional life, in your development, who's it going to?
This one was hard thinking through this because I almost feel like I want to take the cop out of participation trophies to everybody because there's just so many people that come to my mind.
Sure.
And I guess I'm going to do a couple honoraries, okay? Because I owe a lot to them. So let me just say this as an honor. Actually, I'm just going to start with this one. Mark, you're an honorary gold medalist in here because obviously you were my first administrator as a teacher. What you guys hear us do on this podcast, Mark and I have always done ever since we worked together.
Yeah.
And that has just been an awesome opportunity and growth for me, definitely growth for him.
Absolutely.
But, again, I don't think I'd be where I am if it were not for you part of that. Sorry, But here's another oddball one, but I still want to give it as an honorary, and you would agree with this one too. Sure. But Susan Bruce.
Oh my goodness! I'm surprised that woman still talks to me.
It's an honorary gold medal because for everybody, Susan is that church school secretary that is the walking historical record,
everything,
and functional administrative manual.
Exactly.
Everything happens, and when she is not around, everybody's like, "What do we do?"
Well, just think about her role when she started. She started with a typewriter. Would have been not like the original click clack click clack, but one of the electric ones, and then she transitioned to a computer. And then she transitions to a Microsoft Office suite, and then she transitions to the internet, and then she transitions to an LMS. She created her own LMS. Yeah. She was the school's LMS. She's the one who put all of that. So
But as my first couple of years as administrator, she was the go-to. I mean, we sat down and had many discussions. Here's the history of why we've done it this way, and just a lot of her just coming in and encouraging me, like, I don't know what I'm doing, and she's like, no, you're doing a great job. And I really appreciate that, and I'll always be very, very thankful for her influence. But if I were to give a gold medal, if I had to single out one person to give a gold medal to, I have to go back to the reality that I faced not too long ago of being asked the question, would you ever consider being a school administrator? And the answer was...
first answer was no.
Absolutely not. Like, that is the last thing that I ever want to do. But the more I got close to the reality of actually becoming one, the one person I continued to think of and look to as an example was my administrator growing up, Mr. Michael Bull. There were a lot of things that I know when he first came to our school, it was just like, who's this guy and why is he messing up everything? You know, it's what a fourth grader typically thinks of. You know, like, oh, what a loser! He's changing our school. But just the example that he set is what I find myself just like, that's my go-to, that's my default setting. And I don't think there's anything I've learned from him that has been bad or you know, wrong. Now he has said to me several times that there are things that I've said or done that he's like, oh, that's a better way of doing things. But no, I'm very grateful for the example that God put in my life with my administrator. You could probably say the same thing about Mr. Rice, and I've thought about Mr. Rice too.
And Pastor Reiner, I think of now.
And Pastor Reiner. Yeah. So yeah, there's so many people to award, but yeah, if I had to pick one person, I probably would say Michael Bull. So,
next question.
Yeah, boom.
Hit it. Move on.
All right, well these next two, easy. We can get these done. What would you want to get the gold medal for? So you're being awarded that gold medal as a Christian school principal. What's something that you want to be remembered for? And you know, we can also kind of be fun on this one, but what's that one thing?
Okay, yeah, I'll do a real one enough.
There you go.
Heady, real, and hopefully, okay. And I'll also take this monkey off your back too. I hope that I am known as one who pursued after God. I hope I'm as one who is a Christ-like figure.
Good.
All right, with that,
got that one taken
out of the way. I would, in a far less meaningful way, of course, I would want to be known for innovation. I would want it to be that my students were not at all scared of something that was outside the box. I want them to feel like they were, and that's tough. And of course, for certain students, that's not relatively impossible. Certain of our students absolutely have needs that demand a schedule and that's fine. But speaking generally, I would want to be known as he wasn't afraid of innovation. He was an embracer of what could come, and he led us down a path of what we could be. So that would be a nice tombstone. When I'm jelly on 50. Something I'd like to be known for. Besides that, oh man, It's funny. I go back to the swag. I would like to be the one. Like his school had the coolest designs. His school had the coolest gear. His school had, they had fun ties. They had fun t-shirts. That would be a far lesser interest of mine, but that would really be an interest of mine. Sure. You can go with that. Matt, let's say you need to be known for something as you pass along, as you hobble off the scene.
Oh man, yeah, you picked a big one with the innovation, because there's always that, but what's that specific thing?
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know. This is kind of hard, because when I think of what's the unique thing that I offer that somebody coming in after me is not going to be able to do, or whatever else. But I'll say this as maybe my fun one, maybe not very fun, but you took the burden off of pursuing God and doing things, but we often say on the podcast, if you can put it in a jar and sell it,
Sure, yeah.
To be that administrator that set the tone or set the bar for the kids and the faculty to just be all in spiritually, serving God is
Yeah.
awesome, and you know, and
Yeah.
it's fun, and we can take it out to as the far extremities or
Mhm.
whatever we can. Like, I always feel like when I'm in a Bible class or a chapel time, I'm like, everybody should be really excited about this,
Yeah.
and like, it's crickets,
Yeah,
you know.
not like oh yeah,
Oh.
I went to a private school when I was in high school. Like, oh yeah, I went to that school on the other side of town, and like you have to
Yeah.
you have to rip it out of them. They went to Faith Baptist School, or they went to whatever Christian Academy, as opposed to if they had gone to their town's public school and
Right.
like, oh yeah, I went to Parkside, or I went to whatever. And it's we want them to be excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to be like, you know, that guy made it
Mm.
awesome. And I know I'm not doing well on that, but anyway, like that would be like if and I think of it in this way. If I had to walk away from Christian education today,
Mhm.
like I will not have any regrets if this is the case. And I think if our school has grown spiritually, I have no regrets. You know, that's kind of a big thing.
Okay, you send the honorarium my way. If I was going to say right now for you what it was that you would walk away being known as, I would say that no one could question your complete buy-in to the ministry.
Yeah.
From the church to the school. You said that from day one. I want to be here, and the period stops. The sentence, I want to be here, done. And that is not something that many Christian schools have. That is not something that many they wish they had someone that would be there through the thick and thin, that would be there through the COVIDs, that would be there through the whatever else is, and you've been that. So we'll praise you for that.
If I were to go a little bit further on like the fantastic, you know, just like unlocking the key to students' minds, just understanding junior hires, you know.
Not all students.
If I can, no, yeah, we're just gonna limit it to junior hires. Like if you know, here is pick up your copy of Matt George solves the mystery, like. Yeah, give me the gold medal.
We know it wouldn't be a book; it would have to be a YouTube short. So you know, that's what it would be.
Here we go.
Give me the last question.
All right, and
I do get extra points for going first on all these, by the way. Just if we are keeping score, that's who's winning right now.
hold on. Pause, Matthew. Let me pause it here. Did we not? Maybe I should have read this. I'm trying to think. Who would you give? What does that say? What are we saying with that one?
What does it say?
Just says who would you give, which when I first read it made sense.
Hey, Control Z. Did you?
I don't think I got rid of it.
No.
What would you want to get the gold medal for as a Christian school principal? Who would you give?
Okay, let's think of another one. Let's
change it up. So it needs to be fun and it needs to be short.
It needs to be golden. We can't do like who's your golden child. We can't do who's your golden faculty. We can't do if you could give your teachers. If you could use some gold to buy one thing for your teachers right now.
Yeah, because we don't want to be redundant either.
Oh, who would you give a gold medal to? Is where I was going with that. No, I already.
We kind of already did that, right? I guess in the sense of. Who would you say like has accomplished something, maybe in that sense, but yeah, that's too close to the
okay,
other
so
thing.
we got gold. There's gold teeth. What else is gold? Gold teeth out there.
Man, it's got to be something that wraps it up.
Gold teeth, gold ribbon.
Golden age. Gold.
What would your wife want you to do with gold?
Huh?
What would your wife want? Just do with someone in our family. What would your wife want you to? What's on your honey-do list right now that you would just use a pile of gold to take care of?
That's boring. That's boring.
We've used gold as a metal. We've used gold as a
pile of gold. Monetary.
So placement and monetary. Have there been three? Were there three?
Pile of gold. We did 2 gold medals because you did. Who would we? Okay, so the last question is we're looking for the golden moment. When you look back
Mm-hmm.
and all that you've done as administrator, as a teacher, what is that one golden moment that is just always going to bring up the spirits and help us press on to tomorrow?
I got some bad ones. I got some real bad ones I could go to. It kept me up at night.
And no, your eagle. That doesn't count.
I want to go golf course. Okay.
Eagle doesn't count.
Oh man, there are some good. You gave out honoraries, and I gotta wrap this up. So if I was thinking top of my head right now, I'd go to when I left here, when I left the administration here at Faith, and I pursued something else. I was wearing a medallion. It was it was a stole. It was a stole the administrator wears, and I remember taking that off, and we put it on you.
Yeah,
that was
sitting right over there.
Oh, that was. I will always remember that. I was crying like a baby. I'll remember that, but it was beautiful. Oh man, I remember recently in my second installment, we were celebrating a 25th anniversary, and just that. I loved everything that went into that moment and everything that went into that performance, or that event was awesome. I remember we hit a fundraising goal that we blew past a fundraising goal. It was like triple 6-digit figure. Like, it's sad that I want to say it's almost sad that those things are in my mind and not so much a student event, or like interaction with a student or interaction with a teacher. I have had so many times of just hilarity with teachers in an off-campus moment. Oh, those are strong too. Oh my goodness. That's tough. That's really a golden moment I'll always go back to. As far as just being consumed with happiness in the moment, that's tough. I guess I'd go back to one of those two culminating events, because those are where my mind went first. So one of those two culminating events, the culminating event of my time and my first administrative gig, was that moment. Mm-hmm. And that moment of passing that stole my mind anyway, and working up to it and then leaving that. And then so that would probably be number one. And the second one would have to be that, probably close to that 25th anniversary culminating for that ministry, culminating all that time and having poured over so many records and made interviews and created and made invites and just, that was a wonderful time. So I'll stop there. My 2 moments.
Oh, yeah.
What's your golden moment of your time as an administrator?
Right.
What's your golden moment to this moment?
Well, I will say I'm looking forward to the many golden moments to come.
Yeah.
Because there are several that I am anticipating. And they need to come. No, I'm talking about accreditation. I'm talking about a gymnasium. I'm thinking about all these different things.
That's beautiful.
Now, I will say, so Mark, you mentioned about the passing of the stole.
Yeah.
Well, leading up to that, we had a parents meeting where we had parents come, and you gave me an opportunity to kind of share with them my vision of where I'm going to take the school, and I became the administrator. And I just remember, I was like, should I mention a gymnasium? And you're like, dude, go for it. And I said it, and there was like this, like the reaction from everybody, like, oh, thank goodness, somebody's going to act on this. And I was just like, really? Like, well, is that it? But, here we are, however many years, 7 years after that, and we're still, but we're progressing. Yeah. So, I do remember, like, that time was really kind of neat. But if I were to pick one particular moment, and it's a little bit more of a teacher moment than it is an administrator moment. But I had a student that was, I want to say was in 10th grade. Maybe 9th grade, but was going to 10th grade. And just one of those typical students of, least amount of effort possible, like more interested in sports and everything else, and just making really dumb choices. And they were in my play that I was putting on, and they did something really stupid that almost got them kicked out. And I had a sit-down conversation and be like, listen, you've got to remember that the decisions you're making are affecting not just you, but other people. And not only just other people, but it's also affecting your future. Like, at some point, you've got to recognize, where am I going? What am I going to accomplish? And we've probably all had those conversations,
Mm-hmm.
but for this student in particular, that next year, they were a totally different student.
Mm.
And I'm not patting myself on the back. I don't give myself any credit. I look at them and what they did, and that student, who I've had conversations with, and they said they started thinking, what are they going to do with their life?
Mm-hmm.
They got a plan together, and they realized very quickly, like, oh, if I want to accomplish that, I can't be the student I am right now.
Yeah.
I've got to start changing things. And they were totally capable of being, straight A students. And the light switch was flipped. Throughout the rest of high school, did great, went into the program they wanted to get into, got into it, and are just doing amazing things right now. And it's just, every time I see that, I don't take credit in it, but I definitely pull that out as an example when I'm talking to other students. Like, guys, you've got to recognize it. It's right there, and the opportunity, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss out on that. And I love that I have that as an experience.
Yes,
because it gets brought up a lot.
And I'm sure there's other
so
ones.
I'm very thankful for that moment.
Yeah.
But there's many other student moments. There's many other teacher.
I was thinking there's probably plenty of other moments with students where they've done the opposite. So it's
that too. But no, this has been a really good time of reminiscing, and and as we ask those questions, we would ask you the same questions.
Tell us.
What would you do with your pile of gold?
Drop the comment.
Who would be getting your gold medals?
Send the email.
What are you giving us gold medals for? No, I'm just all that kind of stuff. What are your gold moments? But we'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to see more interaction, our comments, and reminiscing, because we're getting strengthened by, we're all in this together. We're all having the very similar experiences, and we can benefit from sharing with each other.
Let's share.
That's why we're here.
Let's do it.
So thank you so much for being a part of this, but we are going to jump to a spotlight before we wrap up the episode. And our spotlight for this episode goes to Dan Thompson, administrator, at Calvary Christian Academy in Cresaptown, Maryland.
Dan Thompson was the gentleman who I got into contact with when I was first introduced to the ACSI Administrators Forum. And he was on there an awful lot, and I realized, oh wait, he's in Maryland too. Oh, he's in Western Maryland. Interesting. So I got a hold of him and his contact, and we talked about things, and very specifically, he helped me out with the ESA grant that came through after COVID, and we just got a slew of technology with it. And he was very, very useful in helping, because he had been at the state level and conversating with legislature at some point in that discussion when it started. But then even more recently, it was I was able to, we were going to be involved with a teacher conference, which he and some of the Western Maryland, West Virginia, and I guess that's like Southwest or South Central Pennsylvania schools that would be a part of. And I had the same kind of cybersecurity conference workshop that I was doing elsewhere with James, and we just had a bad title on it, and so like 2 people signed up for it. So an 8-hour round trip for 2 people wasn't going to happen. But he was very gracious to us in having conversations. So anyway, he's been in the ministry for a while. He has been leading the ministry out there for a while, and they have done great things. And he has been even encouraging me from a whole state away. He's been super encouraging to me, and I'm sure to many other people. So Dan, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, Dan. And thank you all for listening to our 50th episode, the Golden Pod. It's hard to believe.
The Golden Pod.
We're here, but we're looking forward to the 100th.
All right. Thanks
Here
for
we
going.
come.
Thanks for going. Let's do that again.
Yeah, do it.
We're looking forward to you were saying.
We're looking forward to the 100th.
Thanks for growing with us today.
Oh boy. It did not end up being short.
I'm gonna be in trouble.
But we gotta chop that one down a little
Those
bit.
were good. Those were 2 solid episodes. We're getting so much better at this game.
Golden Pod.
I think Matthew's actually in a place too where it's not like terribly difficult for him to get through these a lot faster, which is nice. I'm glad for that for him.
The Golden Pod. I should have put on my Walter Brennan impersonation. Well, there goes my tape. Actually, that's Pastor Baker's tape. I gotta get back to Exporters MP3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll throw those in the thing in the morning.
All right, mostly put away.